the JMN Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Beecham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet fans. Welcome to another episode of Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou. But Dory Lou is not going to be with us today. She picked up a shift, had to go to work. So, filling in for her this week, DJ Mut King. Thanks for stepping in, brother.
Of course. How is everyone doing out there in the Casa D-18 galaxy, the Jeff Beecham Multiverse?
We're getting hit by another thunderstorm today. I'm loving this. This is why I know it sounds corny when I say that Tennessee storms are amazing. It's because they are. And it's like I always look up in the sky and I say something stupid and a thunderclap hits. Like the big man upstairs knows what I'm talking about. But I'm loving it. It's a great day out here in the Sevier County, where we're getting ready for the fall. But we got lots of sports to talk about, as we do every week here, Tuesdays on Stat Boy Sports Bar. Of course, if you want to dictate and make me stop dead in my tracks, super chat. I'll read your super chat on air and give you a quick rant on it, because that's what I do. So, starting off in the world of golf. Men's golf, I found this out today. The tournaments that would normally start the 2023-2024 season in the FedEx Cup, the schedule is going to a calendar-based season. So, starting in January, the FedEx Cup officially starts. Coming up this week, the Fortinet Championship starts a smaller version of that. It's the FedEx Fall Cup Series. So starting next week, we bring the men back in, but it's like a smaller setup to what the FedEx Cup really is all about. But what the big news that the men are really getting ready for is the Ryder Cup. And both teams have been announced. This is Team US. Zach Johnson is the captain, along with his vice captains, Steve Stricker, Davis Love III, Jim Furyk, Fred Couples, Stuart Sink. And a few names here on the list you should recognize if you've been paying attention on the Sports Bar, because we rank everybody every week. Scotty Scheffler, the number one ranked player overall in the world. He's on Team US. Wyndham Clark, he won a couple tournaments earlier this year. Brian Harmon, Patrick Cantlay, he's a top 10 player. Max Homa, who won the Fortinet Championship 2 years in a row, he's on Team US. Xander Schauffele, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, he was in the top 10. Colin Morikawa, who of course donated all the money for every birdie he made in the first round of the FedEx Cup Championship, he donated to the Hawaii Fire Fund. And that's actually where the FedEx Cup is going to start, in Hawaii. Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler, and Justin Thomas. Over on Team Europe, Luke Donald is the captain, along with his vice captains, Thomas Bjorn, Eduardo Molinari, Nicholas Colacerts, Jose Maria Olazabal, and Francisco Molinari. I believe they are brothers with Eduardo. And of course, some other names. Rory McIlroy, he played he did quite well in the FedEx Cup. John Rahm, Robert McIntyre, Victor Hovland, who is the PGA Tour champion. Tyrrell Hatton, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, Nikolai Holgaard, and Ludwig Aberg. And I believe Team US has the Ryder Cup in their possession, which is, let's face it, Team Europe dominates in the Ryder Cup. It's about time we have a win.
I mean, when you got Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele on your team, that's going to make things even more interesting. But you can't never count out John Rahm or Rory McIlroy, because they've been doing it so long. They're like the, newer generation's baby Tiger Woods. So,
indeed. It is a little bit sad that Tiger isn't playing. I guess he's finally accepting retirement. We used to play Tiger Woods PGA golf at the Casa. It was me and Renegade, and we took it very seriously. We actually thought we were golfing. The game was very realistic for the GameCube back in the early 2000s. EA Sports has got the monopoly on sports games. They did a great job, and the graphics, we created our own characters, and it got very realistic. We never went out to a driving range though, because let's face it, there's no way I can swing a golf club. Renegade probably could.
I mean, you do have great putt courses though, so it's a good place to start.
Pigeon Forge here in Sevier County has at least 6 mini golf courses on the main parkway. Pick one and practice. Believe me, he's not lying when you say that. Anyway, moving on to the ladies. The ladies played this weekend in the Kroger Queen City Championship. Your winner was Min Ji Lee. And the whole thing started with Ruxin Liu of China. She scored a 7 under 65 on Thursday for her best round of the year, and she had a one-shot lead. 7 birdies through 13 holes, and then closed her round with 5 pars. But she's got allergy problems, which she had to withdraw out of the tournament the previous week. And in the second round, Peiyun Chen of Taiwan scored an 8 under 64. She played bogey-free. She got a 4-shot lead. In the third round, Min Ji Lee of Australia scored a 7 under 65. She had a 3-shot lead over top 10 player Charlie Hull. They battled back and forth in the final round. They had to go to 2 playoff holes to determine the winner. Charlie Hull almost got there. She got real close, and the ball did not drop. Had the ball dropped in, it would have been game over. They go to a second playoff hole, and Charlie Hull did not get it. Minji Lee did. This was her 9th career tournament and her first win this year. This tournament, the Kroger Queen City Championship, is the final tournament. The ladies are now getting ready for their version of the Ryder Cup. They call it the Solheim Cup. Those rosters and that information will be brought up next week. Hello, Tornado Anthony. No, we have not started talking football yet. That's the meat and potatoes. We give you the appetizers before we go to the main course. Here's your top 10 in the ladies. Number 1 player, Celine Boutier, did not play again. She has not played since the CKPC Open. Number 2 is Ronyin Yin. She took 3rd place. Lilia Vu has not played since the Portland Open. Wonder what's going on with that. Jin Yun Ko did not play either. And Hugh Jun Kim did not play either. Only Runyan Yun played. Allison Corpus did play in the Kroger Championship, but she missed the cut. There's Charlie Hull. She is now the number 7th ranked player. She knocked out Nelly Korda, who was in the top 10. She is now out, but she can work her way back into the top 10. Ayaka Furure did not play. Shayu Janet Lin did. She tied for 19th, and Brooke M. Henderson tied for 23rd. As far as the top 10 itself, the top 6 stayed the same. Then 7 came in, 8, 9, and 10. And that is women's golf. Let's look over into what happened in New York. The Grand Slam event, the tennis, the U.S. Open. We start with the men. There's your winner. No, the Joker wins again. Novak Djokovic of Serbia. Yes, we know, Tornado. Just save it. Novak Djokovic winning in straight sets in New York, defeating Daniel Medvedev to win his 96th career title, his 24th major, his 4th U.S. Open title, and his 5th title of this year. We did want to try to get Alcaraz versus Djokovic. Their rivalry is becoming insane. Unfortunately, Alcaraz did not make it to the final. He lost in the semifinal. Let's take a look at the top 10 in those guys. There's Djokovic. Djokovic is now the number 1 player as he was the U.S. Open winner. Alcaraz drops to number 2. Daniil Medvedev stays at number 3. Holger Rune is at number 4. Stefanos Tsitsipas, my countryman, back in the top 5 where he belongs, but he lost in the second round. Andrei Rublev moved up 2 spots to number 6. Yannick Sinner moved down to number 7. Taylor to number 8. Casper Ruud dropped 4 spots, and we have a new number 10 player in Alexander Zverev of Germany. He got all the way to the quarterfinals. He knocked out Francis Tiafoe in the top 10. Zach, you're pretty happy there about the men.
Oh, but it's no shape for the women. But you got to look at Novak Djokovic. Is just, man, he is tennis's. I can't believe I'm going to say these words.
Go ahead.
Djokovic is tennis's Tom Brady.
Get out of my sports bar. I am not going to Joker bash. I like the guy.
I do too, but he's won so many championships just like that person. So he's that sports version.
Brady is not Voldemort, okay? You can say his name.
Yes. Djokovic should be on a level of sports history greatness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's closing in on 100 career titles. So that's an accomplishment in itself.
That's insane.
It would be. If he can get that done by the end of the year, and then maybe even win another 25, I would have liked to see the rematch though between Djokovic and Alcaraz. That's like, I don't know. That's like Sampras and McEnroe or something,
Right.
without the tantrums. No tantrums.
I mean, he's got to be on the freaking
greatest of all time list.
The Mount Rushmore of sports. I mean,
I don't know about all of sports. All of tennis, yes, he's working his way up there. All of sports, that's the sky's the limit on that one. I mean, Agassi, Sampras, Djokovic, and
Roger Federer.
And Federer, yeah. You can't forget about, how about Nadal? You don't forget about him. Nadal was up there for a bit too. See, the problem with McEnroe was he cried too much. That's what his career is going to be known for, crying.
Well, I like McEnroe's comedic TV side of him more than the golf side. I mean, the tennis side.
Mm-hmm.
The golf side's pretty good too, but
Yeah. When he plays in celebrity tournaments anyway.
Yeah.
And let's bring up the ladies. Let's really give props to Coco Gauff. I mean, wow, well done. 19 years old. There's Billie Jean King down in the bottom right corner, getting all. This was her tournament to win. I mean, this was all her. No matter what, no matter which way you look at it, if you didn't put your money on that one, in the U.S. Open between Coco Gauff and Carolina Mukova, however, their match was delayed, and this was just pure stupidity. Their match was delayed by an environmental group called Extinction Rebellion. And one of them, I don't know. Okay, if you're going to protest with a sign, that's one thing. The most extreme thing I've seen is when environmentalists chain themselves to trees because they don't want the forest cut down. That I can understand. But somebody, and who knows why, he took off his shoes, he took off his socks, and he literally super glued his feet to the stands of the arena, of the court. Now, how does that say I'm protesting? Explain this one to me, please.
It says stupidity. And in tennis terms, it's stupidity in straight sets.
But why super glue your feet to the ground?
And why tennis?
I don't think he was there to watch tennis. He and three other people were there to just cause a scene. At what point? How does it makes no sense? I mean, if you're going to scream out at people, end global warming, stop fossil fuels.
That's one thing.
That's one thing. Okay. If you're going to wear a shirt like they do, they okay, that's another thing. But to take off your socks and shoes and just, I mean, that doesn't seem safe at all, because let's face it, super glue and this human skin does not bode well, because they had to call paramedics to literally remove him from the glue and from the arena. So
it's like putting dry ice on your body. Like,
ooh, ouch!
It's just, it absorbs right through the skin. Like,
it's totally dumb.
Hello, Renegade.
Hello, Renegade. I mean, again, I'm all for free speech. I'm all for that, but think about it first.
Right.
Bottom line. Coco Gauff ended up winning $3 million, which was the same amount of money that the men earned. And this is also the 50th anniversary of equal pay between the men and the women. Maybe gluing his feet to the ground equates to the warming of the planet, fusing him. Oh, good thought. I like that. That explains it. Or that too. Yeah. Well, luckily their names weren't announced, but anyway, it's over and done with, thank goodness. And the ladies are getting ready to play in another tournament. I did not get the information as to where. I do apologize for that. Let's take a look at the top 10 of the ladies and see where everybody. That's the men. There we go. We have a new number 1 female. Arena Sabalenka, who was the runner-up to Coco Gauff. She is now the number 1 player, forcing Iga Swiatek from Poland to drop 1 spot. And there's Coco Gauff in the top 3 now. Elena Rybakina, she is in 4th. She stayed the same. Jessica Peluga dropped 2 spots. She's now in 5th. She lost in the 4th round. Marketa Vondrousov, she jumped up 3 spots. Ons Jabeur dropped 2 spots. Carolina Mukova gained 2 spots. Maria Sakkari is down 1 more. She's almost out of the top 10. Caroline Garcia rounds out the top 10. Madison Keys, the other semifinalist who ended up losing, she is creeping her way into the top 10. So possibly by next week, either Caroline or Maria could be out because Madison Keys is a sleeper in the world of tennis.
Oh, yes.
So we'll see where that goes with the next tournament. Thank you, Renegade. Again, remember, if you're enjoying the show, show your love with a super chat. It's as simple as that. Let's talk motorsports. Let's talk NASCAR. The playoffs are upon us. Let's start with the Craftsman Truck Series. They had the Kansas Lottery 200. This was the first race in their playoffs. Winner, Christian X, driving the number 19 Chevrolet for McAnally Hilgman Racing, followed by Taylor Gray. Number 17, Toyota Tricon Garage. Matt DiBenedetto in the number 25 Chevrolet for Rackley War Racing. Number 11, Corey Heim in the Toyota Tricon Garage. Number 38, Zane Smith in a Ford for Front Row Motorsports. Number 42, Carson Hocevar Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. Number 52, Stuart Friesen in a Toyota for Halmar Friesen Racing. Number 2, part-timer Nicholas Sanchez in a Chevrolet for Rev Racing. Number 16, Taylor Enkaram, Toyota Hattori Racing Enterprises. And last on the list, let me get my other copy because I can't. There we go. It is Jake Drew, number 61 for Toyota Thor Sport Racing. So the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs, the top 8 racers are in. That's how they start. They have 3 races coming up. The Bristol race on September 14th, the Talladega race on September 30th, and the Homestead Miami race on October 24th. You do not want to be below that red line. If you are below that red line, you do not go to the November 3rd race in Phoenix and try to win the Craftsman Truck Series. As you can see, Corey Heim is the number 1 racer, followed by Christian X, Grant Effinger, and Carson Hocevar. Zane Smith is tied. We had to have a tiebreaker for that one. But so all he'll have to do is basically win a race and stay above that line. Ty Majeski in the 98 Ford is only 6 points behind. Ben Rhodes is 9 points behind, and Nicholas Sanchez is 16 points behind. Same scenario with the Xfinity Series. They had their final race before going into the playoffs, the Kansas Lottery 300. And I'm calling this guy the front runner. This guy has been on fire all season. Number 20, John Hunter Nemechek for Joe Gibbs Racing, driving a Toyota. If I'm giving him the odds-on favorite because he has just been insane this season. Brandon Jones took second place in the number 9 Chevrolet. In fact, the Chevrolets 2 through 6. Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman, Austin Hill, and Josh Berry. 5 Chevrolets right there. That's the way it should be. Brett Moffitt was in his Ford for AM Racing. Derek Kraus in the final Chevrolet. for Colleague Racing, Joe Graff Jr. for RSS Racing, and Kaz Grala in his Toyota for Sam Hunt. So
I would be a poor, pardon the interruption, Mike. I would be a poor NASCAR fan and a poor Meacham family member if I didn't point out Nemechek is how you say the last name, because he is the son of Joe Nemechek, who was a NASCAR legend, if we're being honest. I love Joe Nemechek, great guy. And
Thank
also,
you.
I believe he has other family in NASCAR history too. So yeah, John Hunter Nemechek, who he's 26 years old, for Christ's sakes. Guy's a fucking prodigy. Anyway, carry on.
absolutely. So the Xfinity Series, they are starting their playoffs. There's your top 12. The top 8 get into the next round. The bottom 4 are eliminated after Charlotte in October. Again, John Hunter Nemechek win this whole thing. Austin Hill is the second ranked racer for RCR. Justin Allgaier, he's had a pretty good season for JR Motorsports. Cole Custer in the double aught for Ford, Stewart Hot Racing. Sam Meyer in the Chevrolet for JR Motorsports. Chandler Smith for Colleague Racing in his Chevrolet. Josh Berry in his Chevrolet. Sheldon Creed in his Chevrolet. Chevy. I'm loving this. The 4 on the bubble are Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Kligerman.
It's a lot of Chevys.
Like Chevy on the track, Ford on the streets. It's as simple as that.
Ford,
Yes,
first on
Jeff.
race day.
What's that?
First on race day, Ford.
Oh, really?
That's right. I am a Ford guy, brother, as is my dad. He drives a Dodge right now, but we are Ford people, and we have been for years. So, yeah, it's definitely a point. Although we've lightened up on Chevys a lot in recent years because Dad doesn't drive the Ford anymore because his Mustang got hit because people can't friggin' drive in Southern California. But yeah, first on race day, Ford, baby. Anyway, carry on.
Indeed. We have one more race to go in the first round of the NASCAR Cup Series. The second race, the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway, took place. Tyler Reddick took that matchup in his number 45 Toyota for 23XI Racing, followed by Denny Hamlin in the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs. Number 43, Eric Jones in his Chevy, and his teammate Kyle Larson took third and fourth in their Chevys for Hendrick Motorsports. Joey Logano took fifth, number 22 for Ford Team Penske. Chase Elliott, number 6 for Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Busch in the top 10 at number 7. Christopher Bell at number 8. Brad Keselowski at number 9. And Alex Bowman rounds out the top 10. There are your current playoff standings. Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick are already into the next round, which is the round of 12. And this coming up, it's Bristol, baby. Dory Lou and I do have tickets to get to the race. I went last year. This will be the Food City 300. So this should be my second race. Why does the picture of Orange Cassidy behind Zach make him look like a real? Yeah, why is that, Zach? Go ahead and answer that question. He's got a good response, Pop. By the way, good response. You want to?
I'm sitting in my throne of AEW back here.
There you go.
I think Pop is challenging you there, Jeff.
Orange is channeling his inner Robert De Niro over there.
So. There you go.
But yeah,
because he is a pockets god. That's why.
So Pop rocks the Ford and I rock the Chevys. I love it. Chevy versus Pop picks on the Fords, and as he should, because he's Pop. Whatever Pop says goes. in this Casa family anyway. So yeah, Dory Lou and I will be at Bristol for the Food City 300 at the night race. We did want to go to the dirt race earlier this year, just didn't happen. And of course,
I was about to say you got your ear protection ready, huh?
Oh yeah. The worst case of tendonitis I have ever gotten from last year's race. It was I actually thought that I was going to have the ringing in my ears for like at least a week. It only lasted a day, thank goodness. But this time, these are going to come in real handy. I just can't wait. I just can't wait to go back to Bristol. So again, the top 12 get in, 4 get cut after the Bristol race. It's Bristol, baby. Can't wait. All right. Up next is WNBA, I believe. Is it WNBA?
Playoff season.
Yes, it is the WNBA. The regular season is done. The 8 teams in green have advanced to the playoffs, and the 4 teams in red will not. The Las Vegas Aces are your number 1 seeded team, finishing the season at 34-6, followed by the New York Liberty at 32-8. The Connecticut Sun are at 27-13. The Dallas Wings are at 22-18. The Dream, the Lynx, and the Mystics were all tied. In the tiebreaker, they go with the head-to-head records. Atlanta had a better head-to-head record over Minnesota, who had a better record over Washington. So that's how they were seeded. And finally, the Chicago Sky round out the top 8. The Sparks did not make it this year. The Fever, the Storm, and the Mercury were out.
Look, did we lose Mikey?
Uh-oh.
He might be broken. I'll go ahead and boot him out for now. Anyway.
The WNBA is in the middle of their playoffs. And unfortunately, Jeff, we tried to touch on it last week. What is going on with exactly with the LA organization?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm no expert on the WNBA for sure, but I just know that I'm 90%, not even 90, I'm not even that much sure, but I'm pretty sure Jeannie Buss has her hands in that cookie jar as well, and with running that and, you know, helping run the Lakers, of course, and having a presence in women of wrestling, however much that's going. You know, I don't know, but I think this is the first time they've not made the playoffs in their existence. If I am correct in my
I do believe you are correct.
My information, which for me, you know, again, I've never been a part of the WNBA. Not that I'm just not a fan. I don't follow basketball very much anymore either, to be honest with you, but in general. But yeah, the WNBA has never been high on my priority list as far as watching. So I don't know what's going on there. It was literally a just a general guess or a observation that it seems like Ms. Buss has her hands in a lot of cookie jars, and maybe the Sparks are kind of getting to the bottom of the jar there and getting a little stale because they've not had their best year, to say the very least. So I don't know.
Right. And another team who's on that same wavelength, who you rarely ever see miss the playoffs, is the Phoenix Mercury. And yes. I can't imagine what Brittany Griner is going through right now. After all she had to go through in Russia, to come back home, to play in her first season back, and the season goes like that. Yeah, that has to. I mean, granted, you wouldn't wish the other way for her to still be stuck over there. Let's be clear on that. But you know, to come home and have to deal with a losing. I mean, you know, what was the record? I didn't see what it said here. God, 9-31. 9 wins. She comes back to a game or season that they're under 25 or no 30. No, it's 30. Under a third of their games resulted in victories. That is atrocious for anybody to have to deal with, let alone, you know, somebody who was dealing with what she was dealing with prior to returning home. That was crazy. Right.
Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
I guess a lightning strike hit or something, but who knows what happened.
It is what it is. We were just talking about the fact that the Sparks, I believe this is the first time they've not made the playoffs in their existence. And then Zach brought up the fact that forgive me on the name of the lady that was stuck in Russia all that time, Zach.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah, Griner comes back and Phoenix goes 9-31. It's like, woof. Damn. rough WNBA season for the usual suspects, if you will, as far as the win column. So not a happy time.
So Zach, who you choosing? Who's your pick?
You know, the smart pick would be the Las Vegas Aces. I mean, come on. Basically, on paper, they've run the league the entire season. But, you know, my gut is telling me to go with the New York Liberty. They are fighters. They haven't given up, and they push to the very end. So I think the Liberty are going to give the Aces a run for their money. So I'm going to go with the Liberty to win it all.
All right. Dory Lou obviously goes with the Minnesota team, so she'll be rooting for the Lynx. I can go with the Aces as well based on the statistics. I mean, dominate the playoffs or dominate the season, win the playoffs is the way it's supposed to go. And usually that happens. You never can tell with sports.
No.
Look what happened in football this weekend. We're getting to that. Believe me, I've seen enough of the same story. It's a teaser. I've seen enough of the same story when we get to it. So, yeah. All right. The FIBA basketball tournament is in the books. It is over and done with. And we have a new FIBA World Cup champion in the form of Germany. Germany narrowly beat the U.S. in their semifinal matchup, 113-111. Serbia ended up beating Canada 95-86. Germany went on to beat Serbia in the finals, 83-77. And then what they do is they take all the teams that have played and they give away the final standings, gold, silver, and bronze, along with every other team that plays in the FIBA World Cup. So let's take a look at that. You're getting a bit of a geography lesson. Germany, Serbia, and Canada were your top three. U.S. finished fourth. All the other teams are here. My home country of, my heritage country of Greece, in the left column. When we do things in columns, the left is okay and the right is not. But at least they're in the left column there. So there you go with that. And let's take a look at the championship team. This was their very first win. There they are with their gold medals and the FIBA World Cup. Congratulations to Germany, also known as Deutschland.
That's crazy. Seeing that list of teams on the right side and seeing China almost all the way at the bottom from how many years they dominated this tournament along with the U.S.
Only in some reality situations, Jeff. If you know, you know. Left is right and right is wrong. But we don't talk about that on this channel. Yes, I agree. China was very dominant in basketball, and then they just downhill spiral, man. You're absolutely right on that. And a lot of there weren't very many professional players on Team USA this time around either. I expected a lot of NBA players that to get them ready for the NBA, which should be starting very soon. Yes, Raymond, that is true. There are rumors that LeBron James will be joining Team USA for the Olympics next year, 2024 in Paris. But
they're also talking about his son is also going to join that team as well.
Bronny is doing very well. Also, I should comment on that. I have not been commenting on that at all. They did successfully diagnose what did cause his cardiac arrest, but he is still recovering nicely. He's A-okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jeff. What's up? Did you have something, Jeff? Yes, no, maybe? But yeah, I mean, father and son playing on Team USA, Maybe that will defer the Laker LeBron haters and have LeBron win for Team USA. I don't know.
We shall see. I mean, it's the next tradition. You see it gradually come in and out of sports all through time. Recently, we finally got Tiger Woods and his son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess the next step is Bronny and LeBron. So, it's exciting nonetheless.
I think there was also a football pic going around in social media of a father and son playing. I don't know if it was a meme or I don't know if it was reality, but I think it had to do with Cincinnati and Cleveland. Not certain though. Good one, Tornado. Very funny. Injuries abound. All right. So basketball will be put to the side for a little bit until the NBA starts their season.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is what's next on the list? I think it was we have a team that is going into the next round. And that, of course, is your Atlanta Braves, because we don't have a team in Tennessee. So we have to root for the Atlanta Braves. 94-50. They are green. They have locked in their spot. One spot is down. The rest should be coming in shortly. Baltimore at 91-52. Tampa Bay at 89-56. Dodger Blue at 87-56. Houston 82-63. Milwaukee 80-63. Toronto 80-64. Excuse me. Texas 79-64. Philadelphia and Seattle round out the top 10 tied 79-65. Philadelphia has a 20-run lead. The Cubbies with the Mad Cow 78-67. Arizona 76-9. Minnesota 75-69. San Francisco and Miami tied at 74-70. San Francisco has a 35-run lead. Cincinnati at 74-71. Boston 73-70. Yankees are at 71-72. Yeah, I know. The Angels and the Padres are tied at 68-77. The Padres have the 666 as their number. Wouldn't it be a little bit more scary, though, if that number belonged to the Angels? Just saying. I mean, it's okay. We know what
That's why it's ironic.
we
That's
know
why it's ironic, because the Angels won out because the Devil got the other team. Just saying. Anyway.
Cleveland at 68-78. That number is 603 there. That was my mistake. That's a botch. 66-77 for the Detroit Tigers. 66-78 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Mets are at 65-78. The Nationals are at 65-79. And the Cardinals are at 63-81. We have 4 eliminated teams: the White Sox, the Rockies, the Royals, and let's face it, the Athletics have been eliminated last month. What do the Tigers have to do now? They have to win, for one. They have to get above 500, because there's no way you're getting in the playoffs if you're on the far right column. I'll tell you that right now. And we lost Zach. Great. Way to go, Zach. You got up from your chair. He had to take a small break.
He said he'd be right back. Don't
well, I missed that
God damn, Mike. Jeez.
Essentially,
Daniel,
Daniel,
fucker father.
Essentially, the Tigers have got to. They have to go on a crazy tear. It's that simple. Because
Yeah. You're not going to make the playoffs playing under 500 ball in this day and age. It's just not going to happen.
Way.
You know, that's why the Angels are sitting there riding that line like a show pony, man. They're within reach, but they got to stop. You know, how far are we into the show? They got to stop fucking around here at this point. I'm just saying. So,
indeed.
All right, let's see where we're at here.
And here comes Zach. He's back.
All right, I will pop out then, because other than saying yay if my teams win, or if certain teams win, I really don't. Well, yeah, what the hell? Let's stick around. Hell with it.
College football roundup. Here we go.
Barf.
Your top 25 is there on the list.
Ugh.
And there is your results. We won't go team by team, but first off, okay, it's only 2 weeks in. Georgia dominated Ball State. That's a given. My biggest problem right off the bat, the number 3 Alabama Roll Tide losing to Texas in week 2. That matchup was way too big to have this early in the season. This is going to drop Alabama at least. I haven't put the updated stuff in yet, but Tornado, I'll get to your question in just a second. Don't worry. Not much else happened in the top 25. Texas A&M lost to Miami. I would love to see Miami in the top 25 because it's the U, baby. It's all about the U. They are a good team. Wisconsin got upset by Washington State. I don't see Washington State coming into the top 25 just yet. But Zach, this is your wheelhouse, so fire away.
Okay, so Texas beating Alabama, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Quinn Ewers looks like the modern version of a young Matthew McConaughey. If you know, you know. Other than that, this week has been severely interesting. My other local team, Tulane, choked in the second half to Ole Miss, which was very disappointing.
Yeah, they did. That was rough. That was a rough second half, man.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh.
Horrible. LSU destroyed Grambling. I mean, dude, it was. No, absolutely not. And what's sad is the game was tied at 7.
Yeah.
So we outscored them. Oh, what is it? 65 to 3.
65 to 3 the rest of the way. That's bananas.
But the most, of course, Notre Dame won, as always. It's Irish over everything.
Shout out to Greg. There you go. Well, I did it.
But
Yes,
that's my roommate. Most importantly, Colorado beat Nebraska. Deion Sanders. I am on this Deion Sanders train. I will go. I said this to a lot of people.
You're going to go down with the shit.
Oh, come on now. I said to a lot of people, I am going to go put money on Colorado to win it all.
What?
You know what?
I am on the Deion championship train.
And that is baby.
I wonder what the payout is for that.
Yeah. Tornado, by the way, we've been going past the top of the hour more frequently. We usually go till about for about 90 minutes. We usually go till about 8:30 Eastern nowadays. So I usually catch NXT on the West Coast feed, but they do have a pretty cool match with Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch. So I wouldn't blame you if you need to do a split screen, brother.
Yeah, like I said before, the big matchup, Longhorns and Crimson Tide, way too soon in the season. I mean, if you don't count Texas as a top team, okay, still their fan base, you don't mess with Texas, hook 'em horns, okay?
Oh, yeah.
What am I going to do at work every time I see the Roll Tide? I'm going to throw up the Longhorns. And I'm probably going to get fired for it. And I don't care.
I was going to say, if you value what job you do have at this point, maybe I wouldn't poke the bear. And you know what? UT won this week. So, don't
Who did we beat? Austin Peay? Really?
You're in the top 10 and you won a game you should have won. Let's not get ape shit just because the Crimson Tide won, which nobody likes that, to be honest with you. That's okay. Okay. I won't say nobody. I will defer to the Renegades approach. I won't say nobody because there are some Roll Tide fans, right, Mr. Thompson? And that's fine. But UT1 where you're at. I agree. I agree. Bama winning is for me personally a vomit-inducing experience, right? But some folks like them, and your team won, Mikey. Depending on what day you ask, my side of the Casa D-18 Studios, SC's in the top 10, and UCLA is what it is.
SC's in the top 10 till we get to Notre Dame.
If I don't USC, I get it from everybody. So fight on. You're number 6. Good job.
Not not everybody. There is somebody in that group that very much wears the blue and the gold there. So don't downplay the other side of that tree there, brother.
Well, my problem with that is UCLA to me is more of a basketball college than a football college.
Oh, it's true.
Well, no, that is very true, which is why people feel bad about Duke. It's like, okay, you're giving Duke shit for football. Like, just wait till spring. Relax.
March Madness is only 6 months away.
Right. Yes, sir.
Jeff and Mike, I gotta ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So now it's the Pac-2.
Right?
Yeah, because there's nobody left.
Shit, seriously.
It's the Pac-2 now.
It's not even that. We're just waiting to see how everything shakes out. There's going to be a pack anything here before the end of this season, I bet. It's a mess. And like I said, I don't follow college football enough to be like about it. I just know that, I know what I like. I know what I don't when it comes to college football. I am sick of seeing the same damn teams up there. Wrong graphic. My bad. Same
That's
damn
fine.
teams up there every single year. Georgia, that's goddamn team up north. Alabama, honestly, even the Ohio State, who, my dad's going to wring my neck if he watches this, let's get some fresh blood with these programs into these spots, man. And again, it goes back to recruiting people from, other locations. And I'm not disagreeing with that approach, but I guess I'm more fair-minded than I should be when it comes to sports, because I feel that everybody should, be able to have an opportunity, especially when you're in school, whether it's high school or college. You should be able to get a full experience. And, when you're playing for a team, like, for example, when you're at a school like Austin, PA, and you're going to go out there and get your ass whooped by Tennessee, when you're at Grambling and it's like, okay, well, LSU just, made them bend over and take it. So good for them. Clemson over there, Charleston Southern, it's like, I just feel like,
what's sad about that is they struggled. That game was 21-17 at the half.
Which is bullshit for Clemson. That's ridiculous for Clemson. But that's my point. It's like I think there's too much emphasis put on the college football, only because these kids are getting recruited straight out of there to go play in the NFL. So I'm not disagreeing with that. That's how it should be. I just feel like there's so much pressure on, at the end of the day, these kids. And I talked about this on Beach News yesterday. Except for the juniors and seniors, these are still kids, teenagers, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. They're still kids. And there's so much pressure on these boys to, overperform almost. And I just feel like they should be able to go and enjoy their life. And if their lot in life is that they want to play professional football, then cool. A lot of them are just there, to be part of something. So, anyway, that was my little rant today. Don't mind me.
It was a good rant nonetheless. Let me answer tornadoes. I'll shoot my shot here for who I think is going to win the World Series. I gotta play the numbers, and I gotta play the odds. And right now the Braves are rolling. They got Acuna going like crazy. They're the number 1 team. If it's possible, I would love to see. Who would I pick in who would they go up against though? That's the bigger thing.
Okay, well, what he's asking you is who's your call, not who you want. Because if it's who we want a freeway series in the World Series.
Not really. It ain't gonna happen anytime soon.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying that's what I want. What he's asking you is right now on September 12th, 2023, who's winning the 2023 World Series?
Atlanta
That's what he's
Braves.
asking you right now. Atlanta Braves. There you go.
Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta
JJ?
over everything.
JJ, cue your comment anytime you want because I know what you want to say about the Braves, or as far as their namesake in wrestling. JJ, of course, also saying the Tiger King Roy Scheider, if you know, you know. So there is that.
That's a good one.
Anyway.
Well, that's a good one at that.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens in week 3 of the college football series, and let's see if we get some. Let's see if we can make Jeff's wish come true and have some new players come in. All right.
Or at least some fresh teams getting the showcase. And no, JJ, the comment I meant is A-Town down for the Braves, but that's okay. His comment is very important.
Down. All
very
right.
important. So yes, please do that. Anyway.
All right. Up next, we talked about this last week. We said we were doing it again because it worked so well last season. We are bringing back fantasy hockey.
Oh,
was that next or was it?
No, I honestly forgot the graphics. So just give me a second here.
Oh, well, I have though. It's the rules reveal. Remember, I'm doing that on my end. So I got.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool. I'm like, wait a minute.
I gotta bring that in. So
about that. Okay.
Let me bring that in real quick.
Oh man, KC, you're fucking do it before I. Okay. Anyway. grumble, bitch.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and get this in anyway. Let's hope that this works. Okay, present.
When you can't get it in, is the mic.
Shut up. Very funny.
It's only funny because of past history. Anyway, and if you know, you know, and I'm sorry you know because that's none of your all damn business. Anyway, hey, where'd it go? There it is. I think. There it is. Yay! I think.
All right. So these will be the rules, and I will read them off. And again, this is an evolving league. Sometimes rules can change. That did happen last season. I'm expecting it this season. There are some changes that I will announce, but the main thing is that this is a performance equals points. You want your players to score goals. You want your players to score assists. You do not want your players to get into the penalty box. If that happens, you lose points. Is this sharing or what am I doing here?
Yeah, go. Yeah. Do your thing, brother.
Okay, good. So performance equals points. Score the most points in a season and become overall champion. Your team roster consists of 3 centers, 3 forwards at left or right wing, 3 defensemen, 2 sets of goalies by team, and 1 specific goaltender.
Clarify.
What's that?
So to clarify on that, that means if you pick, so you have 5 goaltenders, but 2 sets have to come from one team. So if you pick 2 so 2 Kings, 2 Ducks, and then 1 goalie from any other of the 30 teams.
Well,
as an example.
You would pick it's like picking defense in football. You would take the goalies of the Kings. You'd get all of them.
Right. So if we're picking 2012, you get Quick and Bernier.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So, and then you can pick any 3 wild cards, center, forward, defense, whichever ones you want, as long as they're not a goaltender.
Right.
Thank you, Pop.
Appreciate the $10, Jerry. Thank you very
$10
much.
super chat.
I know your boy appreciates it too. So there you go.
So,
Tornado, the Flyers were what they were back in the day. Now they kind of are what they are. But yes.
Indeed. How do you score points? 7 different ways: scoring a goal, scoring an assist, the player's plus minus, penalty minutes, the save percentage of the goaltender, and these 2 new rules: stars of the game and head-to-head matchups. Any player who scores a goal scores fantasy points based on the type of goal that is scored. If a player scores a shorthanded goal, you get 5 fantasy points. If they score in overtime, what is considered the game-winning goal, or they score a goal in a shootout, it is worth 4. A regular strength goal is worth 3. A power play goal is worth 2. And an empty netter is worth 1. If the goal falls under 2 categories, the higher of the 2 will be counted. So if the shorthanded goal comes in overtime, it's a shorthanded goal. If it's a power play goal in overtime, it's an overtime goal. Empty netters are empty netters no matter what. For the goal to be considered the game-winning goal, it must take place in the last 5 minutes of the game in regulation or in overtime with the score being tied. If a team scores a goal and ties the game a second or third time, then they get reverted back. So if the Kings and Ducks are tied 2-2, the Kings score a goal with 2 minutes left, the Ducks don't score, whoever scored on the Kings, that's the game-winning goal. Scoring an assist. Any player that assists in scoring a goal gets you fantasy points. The value of the assist is half of the value of the goal scored. So let's say that Kopitar assists on a short-handed goal. A short-handed goal is worth 5 points. Kopitar scores you 2.5 fantasy points. If Kopitar and Drew assist on the play, then the goal, or then the assist points goes down to 1.25 points. It all works out mathematically. An assist can only be a maximum of 2. It's either a maximum of 2, one player does it, or it's unassisted. Plus minus. Fantasy players that are on the ice, they earn you a point. If they're on the opposing team, it's a minus. It's very simple. Players with a plus gives you points. Players with a minus takes it away. I believe the highest plus minus last season was a +5 at one point. +6 is very rare. And I believe the lowest minus was maybe a -4. But of course, the big way you will lose points, penalty minutes. All players who are penalized will cause your fantasy team to lose fantasy points. Do not have your fantasy player get a game misconduct penalty. 15, 10, up to 20 points gone in one penalty, especially in the playoffs. That's what really hurt a lot of players.
That's what hurt me.
Yes, it did. Goaltender save percentage. Now, when the goalies are in net, your goaltenders are guaranteed. Every time your team plays and you have the set of goalies, you'll score points. Your goalies will be ranked throughout if more than one goalie or one team plays. This might be altered because of the individual goalie rule that I made earlier. I did that because we have 2 new players, and a lot of the teams are going to be chosen. It's a numbers thing. We now have 10 people playing. Initially, I had 3 sets of goalies. That would be 30 teams of goalies. That would only leave two sets of goalies left that nobody would want. So it's probably going to be altered. But if you have if all your goalie spots are filled, it goes from the top down to the bottom. Your best goalie scores all their possible points. Second best, it goes down all the way down if necessary. If a goalie gets relieved and the other goalie comes in, those points get reduced as well. Here's one of our another next rules, stars of the game. The media does this. They always name 3 stars of every game. So if your fantasy player is one of those players, you earn points. The top star earns 3, the second star earns 2, and the third star earns 1. Now, here's where challenges can come into play. Let's say, for example, that Jeff, Zach, and I are in this league, and one of Jeff's players gets named the top player. Let's say the second player was the goalie who scored a shutout. Let's say Jeff's player scored the game-winning goal. Let's say the media said that Jeff's player was the top player. Either Zach or myself could challenge that and say, wait a minute, a shutout is more valuable than a game-winning goal. We want to challenge that call. If we successfully get that challenge, we have to have a vote on that opinion. If it's right, it gets adjusted. If it doesn't, they stay the same. Let me see what Renegade's saying here. If I had Quick and Bernier, Quick starts and gets pulled. Quick would get the points based off of how much he played. Bernier would come in and he would get points reduced in relief. We did that rule last year. All goalies get points. They end up turning the game around and winning. This Quick gets a point. Yeah, both goalies would score points. Goalie points are guaranteed no matter what.
Yeah, I think he's asking because in real not this fantasy hockey, in real hockey, the goaltender who is in goal when the deciding goal is scored is the one that ultimately wins or loses the game. So if the game is 4-2, whoever was in goal when the opposing team scored that third goal is the one that ends up getting the L. So that's he was looking for clarification.
Yeah, even if he's in for like one shift, you'll get very little points for it, but you'll get something. Owners have 10 challenges per week. It's a successful challenge if it's a simple majority, and you have to do it the next day, no later than the second day after that. You can't go back in. Oh, remember last week when this happened? That's not gonna fly. So, 10 challenges per week on that. Head-to-head matchups. We're doing the head-to-head matchups in fantasy football currently. We're now going to do this in hockey as well. If you're going up against another team and you beat them in a fantasy matchup, you get bonus fantasy points. If the matchup ends in a tie, both teams earn 1. So, how does the matchups work? We have 12 players plus the goalies. So take the goalies out. You have 2 squads of 6, Squad A and Squad B. If there's an odd number, one player gets thrown out to make it even. Squad A and Squad B get compared based on the points they score that day, which you will earn. If your players earn points or lose points, it all adds up. Whichever squad does better that day will go up against another team's squad in a head-to-head matchup. So, no, Raymond, you do not have a defense team. No, you do not. Visuals help out. So here's the visual on this. I did a quick example. If Dory and I went in a head-to-head matchup, my 12 players against her 12 players, they get split by points. I know it's kind of small. I do apologize for that. But the top 2 players become the number 1 players in each squad all the way down. So our squads would then go up against each other. Her squad A against mine. The head-to-head matchup would be just on the goals alone. Whichever squad does better wins the head-to-head matchup. Shootout goals do not count. That's why on my squad, I only had 7 goals scored. She had 12. She beats me 12-7, straight out. I did consider thinking if it goes to a tie and there's a shootout goal in play, it could, but I haven't made that rule yet. It is a possibility, but not quite. Then all the points get added all together. The player who scores the most points in a day gets a win. Beating another team gets a win. Wins are just there as a statistic, so you can say you've gotten that many. And then at the end of the week, there's a weekly winner as well. Don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. And those points get added up for the entire season. Injuries. If a player is declared to be injured as determined by the NHL, they should be replaced by a player on the same NHL team as the team they are playing for. So if you have one of the LA Kings and they get injured, you got to pick a King. If it's day-to-day. If it's a day-to-day thing, you get the replacement, just like in football. If they're fully out, you can trade them away if you choose. If it's day-to-day and the replacement can come in, and that'll keep going until the injured player comes back. Replacement fantasy players must not be on any existing fantasy team to be eligible. If a fantasy owner fails to make a replacement, one automatically comes in based on the performance of the players. So whoever is doing the best on that day, you will get credit for if he is on your team. So me with the Ducks, whichever Duck does the best, I get those points. It's totally random. It will be at my discretion as well. If you've got an injured player that's like out for 3 weeks, at some point I'm going to come up and say, hey, you got to trade this guy because all these temporary replacements, that's causing way too much time. And you know, he ain't coming back. Trade him. And is that pretty much it? Trades. Players that are drafted on your team must stay on the fantasy team for at least a week unless they are injured. Fantasy owners can trade them or replace them on a permanent basis if you wish. And then we go through the entire 82-game season, and then we go to the playoffs, and the rules change again for the playoffs. Those are the rules. Renegade, of course, is the defending champion. And we are planning on doing the draft next week. We are not going to repeat what happened in fantasy football. I promise that. More than likely, we're only going to do 3 rounds of the draft live. The remaining drafts can be done over the remaining next 3 weeks before the season starts. We can do it privately. We can all get into a studio and we can all do our picks that way. Or we can all do it on Messenger. I also did put a suggestion in the group chat to ask all the team owners to put together a list of potential players. Then, based on the order of the draft, which we will do live in the next week, your players pop in. So you can do that as well. If you just want to send me a list of who you want, then when your team comes up, you automatically get the first player at the top of your list, or your goalies, however you want to do it. We'll worry about that next week. But next week for certain, we will do a draft with whoever shows up, and then 3 rounds max. I'm saying that now because I will admit the fantasy football draft was confusing and people were going back and forth and all that. Dory and I talked about it also. More than likely, we're just going to do maybe a goalie, a center, and a forward, or 3 goalies. We haven't decided on that one yet. Absolutely. We'll make it a lot easier. All right. Well, let's take a small break before we finally get into the meat and potatoes of Stat Boy Sports Bar, and that is NFL football. 16 games in week 1. We've got plenty to talk about. Stay tuned. Jeff? Commercial, please. plenty of great movies coming up. A lot of those movies Summer School. I remember Summer School. That was an excellent movie. Who has a dog? Is that your dog? Jack?
Yes.
Wow. Plenty of great movies. Check out Renegade and all the content on the Casa D-18 Studios and the Multiverse of Media. All right. It is time. Whew, wow. I'm drained out big time. Oh, he's cute. Oh, he's adorable. What's his name?
Her name is Britt Baker D.
You named your dog Britt Baker? Oh, I wish I was drinking right now.
We got Britt Baker, Moxley.
Oh my God.
There's Beatty in the background.
Is it Britt Baker, Dat Mangy Dog?
Good one, bro.
DMD. How that works? Anyway,
Good one, bro. I love it.
That's a good one.
All right, friends. It is time. It is time for the meat and potatoes of Stat Boy Sports Bar. NFL football week 1 is in the books, and trust me, we've got lots to talk about, and hopefully enough time to talk about all of it. Let's get started with what happened in week 1, game 1. The Lions defeated the Chiefs 21-20. Jared Goff went 22 of 35 for 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, got sacked once. Patrick Mahomes went 21 of 39 for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and did not get sacked. Nobody saw this coming except for the Lions, because the Lions decided to go on the record and say, we expected to win, which was as soon as I heard that, I'm like, don't get me wrong, positivity is key in the world. It almost is borderline super extra confidence when it came to the Detroit Lions, because the Detroit Lions, in their season openers in the last 5 years, they had not won. They were 0-4-1. Of course, the big news was Travis Kelce with a calf strain. Never missed a game. Now he's out. It was crazy in the fantasy world, because we were like, is he going to play? Is he going to play? We need our deadlines. Patrick Mahomes was 5-0 in season openers. He went 20 drives without an interception. And when it came down to it, points galore. Let's talk about this real quick, and then we'll go through the rest of the games. Detroit is not messing around, especially in week 1.
They're going to bite off your kneecap.
I know it's early. I mean, it is truly early in the season. You can't really start talking playoffs until week 10, folks. But of course, you know how the media is. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's week 1, folks. Let it cook. Let it cook. Yes, the Chiefs receivers did not come to play. Kelce being out. Yes. Well, they won games last season too, you know. They won last season. They lost the playoffs they lost their ticket to the playoffs due to a tiebreaker. That's the most hurtful thing. Hell will freeze over when they punch their ticket, and it'll really turn into a blizzard if they go to the Super Bowl. Is this a sign that the Lions could be a thing? Absolutely. Yes. To knock off the champions, because here's another stat. The defending Super Bowl champions are supposed to start the season with a win. That didn't happen. That did not happen at all. The Falcons beat the Panthers 24-10. Where are my stats on the? I have the stat board 9,000 over here, and I've lost my teams. There we go. Desmond Ridder went 15 of 18 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, got sacked 4 times. And on the Panthers, Young went 20 of 38, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and got sacked twice. The Ravens beat the Texans 25-9. Lamar Jackson went 17 of 22 for 169 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 4 times for only a loss of 14 yards. CJ Stroud went 28 of 44 for 242 yards, didn't post his touchdown, didn't post an interception, and got sacked 5 times for a loss of 46 yards. 5 sacks in one game. In the Battle of Ohio, which was reminiscent of one of the games in the preseason, where's Josh when you need him? Cleveland defeated Cincinnati 24-3. Deshaun Watson went 16 of 29 for 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 3 times for a loss of 10. Joe Burrow, lowest ranking quarterback, 14 of 31, 82 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and sacked twice. The Jaguars beat the Colts 31-21. Trevor Lawrence went 24 of 32 for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, only sacked twice for 4 yards, not too bad. Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson went 24 of 37 for 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He did get sacked 4 times, but they were only small for a total of 8 yards. Dory didn't like this one. Tampa Bay defeated the Vikings 20-17. Baker Mayfield, 21 of 34 for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, only got sacked once for a small loss of 4. Kirk Cousins, however, helped her fantasy team big time, 33 of 44, 344 yards, second best out of the quarterbacks, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and only got sacked twice. In a very close matchup, the Saints ended up beating the Titans 16-15. Derek Carr went 23 of 33 for 305 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked 4 times for a loss of 23 yards. Ryan Tannehill went 16 of 34 for 198 yards, 3 interceptions, and 3 sacks. Who dat?
Yeah. We played
terrible. You won on that one, though.
We played horrible offense. I mean, look how the game started. We fumbled the opening kickoff, for God's sakes.
A small minor hiccup. It's all right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Our defense played amazing.
I see the super chat. Sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say, I see the super chat. As soon as we get to that game, I will put up all the chats about them boys. Don't worry, guys. Trust me.
This is your moment.
I'm waiting for it, brother.
This is your moment.
It's not my moment. It's all of our moments that have been fans. Anyway, where are we at here? There it is.
San Francisco defeated Pittsburgh. Baller G, what happened? 30-7. And Brock Purdy, 19 of 29 for 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked 3 times. And Pittsburgh, Kirby Pickett went 31 of 46 for 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. No wonder the Steelers lost. He got sacked 5 times.
Yeah.
The Commanders defeated the Cardinals 20-16.
You suck, Arizona.
Sam Howell went 19 of 31 for 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 6 sacks for 46 yards. Arizona, Dobbs went 21 of 30 for 132 yards, didn't put up a touchdown, didn't get picked off, and got sacked 3 times.
You know what's bad about that?
What's that?
Is they're going to be really, really, really bad. And the top quarterback prospects, all of them said, if Arizona has the top pick, yeah, we're going back to college. Try that on for size.
It's true. The Packers beat the Bears 38-20. Jordan Love went for 15 of 27 for 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, didn't get picked, only got sacked once for a loss of 8. Justin Fields went 24 of 37 for 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked 4 times. The Raiders barely squeaked out a victory against the Broncos 17-16. Jimmy G went 20 of 26 for 200 yards, right even there. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, didn't get sacked. And the Broncos, Russell Wilson, 27 of 34 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and sacked twice. No, Seth Rollins was not happy with this.
Sean Payton, you're an asshole for this.
For what? What did he do that was so horrible?
His little shot at New Orleans by starting the game with an onside kick like he did in the Super Bowl with his new New Orleans kicker. That's why you lost. Good for you. Hope you having fun out there in Denver.
Yeah.
Wow.
How are we out here? Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's Tua time, and believe me, with the numbers,
Chargers.
with the numbers that Tua put up, 36-34, Tua 28 of 45, week leading 466 yards. Tammy loved some Tua in the fantasy world. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The defense couldn't touch him. Justin Herbert went 23 of 33 for 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and he got sacked 3 times.
I don't want to put this next one up.
I know you don't.
You fucking suck, New England, you assholes. Okay, go ahead.
The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the New England Patriots 25-20. Jalen Hurts went 22 of 33 for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He got sacked 3 times for a loss of 16. And Mac Jones went 35 of 54 for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He got sacked twice.
And one job, Belichick, you and your dipshits in red, white, and blue, you moron. Go ahead. Sorry.
The Rams turned things around from their preseason and ended up beating the Seahawks 30-13. Matt Stafford went 24 of 38 for 334 yards. Didn't put up a touchdown, though. Didn't get picked off and didn't get sacked. As far as Geno Smith, he went 16 of 26 for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and he got sacked twice. There it is. That's how you start a Sunday night football game. Jeff, you go ahead and say it. This is all you.
So I just want to say, very briefly, that Canyon Cowboys, my high school team that I've been a part of my entire life pretty much, has started the season 4-0. They're going into league play this week on a Thursday because, they can't just, play a regular night. I don't know why they're not playing on Friday this week. Anyway, they're 4-0. And then my Dallas Cowboys come in here and just remind everybody who America's team is. It ain't the Patriots because they couldn't do shit this weekend. It is the Cowboys, 40-0 at MetLife in the Giants' own house, those bitches.
In the rain.
In the rain, that's right. That's right. It may have been raining in New Jersey, but the stars at night were big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, motherfuckers. Carry on.
Ezekiel Elliott, who?
Yeah, seriously. How about that pickup there, Belichick, you overgrown motherfucker? How about it, huh? Carry on. I'm good now. I promise I'll be good the rest of the time.
Woo!
Jeff just went Jim Cornette on.
No, I am just so sick and tired of everybody talking about how great how much of a shit show the East was. And the East was a shit show for a lot of years. I'm not even going to lie. But, every team in the division was, playing like absolute hot garbage. But the Cowboys always got the the Lions share, no pun intended, because Lions actually won this week too. Kansas City. Oh, so sorry to all my friends. I know I have a lot of Chiefs fans. I'm gonna get so much shit when I go back to the hockey games. Oh my god, it's not even funny. Anyway, I'm just so sick of the Cowboys getting the lion's share of it because they're the Cowboys, and Cowboys are what they are. It's like, you know what? Cowboys did their job this week. Eagles won, so whatever. It is what it is, and the Commanders won. So East looks pretty good to me, and the Cowboys were the most dominant of the week in the East because they rolled up on a division team and owned them in their own damn house.
At the risk of possibly losing my birthday present, I'm not going to ask Pop what he thinks of this matchup.
Well, no. I have never been quiet about my fandom of the Cowboys, and I get shit from the other heads of channels on this for being, biased. It's like, you know what? This is one of the few times that I refuse to take off my blue and silver because, damn it, I've been with these guys since they drafted Aikman out of UCLA. I've been a Cowboys fan since then, and I recognize that the Eagles are, going to be, a dominant force as they always are. I recognize that Kansas City may have lost this week, but they will probably have a better record than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not even going to try that because the Chiefs are amazing, despite how we talk about them on Wednesday. Watch Greg Cherry show for that, by the way. And but again, I get to revel in it this week. My luck, Canyon will lose Thursday night to West Ranch, and then the Cowboys will get spanked in week 2. So we'll see. For now, I'm reveling, by God, and I feel as though I've earned it.
The week 2 matchup is a good segue into the final game of the week. Let's go ahead and put that up. The Jets win in overtime, 22-16. Oh, I didn't give the Daniel Jones went 15 of 28, 104 yards, picked off twice, got sacked 7 times. Every time you turn around, he got sacked. Prescott went 13 of 24, 143 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He didn't get touched. And of course, the big news, I know. And the big news from last night's game, of course, it was the hyped game, the Jets and the Bills. 22-16 was the final score in overtime. But of course, it's been talked about on every sports show, podcast, radio, ESPN. It is confirmed Aaron Rodgers did tear his Achilles. He is out for the season. There's the super chat from Anthony. We didn't forget about you. If you know, you know. Them Cowboys putting a beating on the Little Giants. Good job. Excellent movie.
That's right. He couldn't even make it through one quarter. Grandpa couldn't.
4 plays in, he went down. 4 plays.
Oh, damn, Aaron! My goodness.
I know it's sad. The Jets did end up winning on 9/11. We know that was all good, but injuries happen. It happens in wrestling. It happens in football. It happens everywhere. Everyone is talking. It's like, can the Jets come back from this? Off the bat, first take this morning, my good buddy Stephen A. Smith saying no, the Jets will lose to the Cowboys next week in week 2.
Where's the game at? Dallas or Jersey?
Huh?
Where's the game?
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
I believe it's in Dallas.
If it's here, the Cowboys ain't. If it's here, listen to me. If it's in Dallas, Cowboys ain't losing to the Jets. Not going to happen. They went in there. They went in that stadium and beat up on the other team that occupies that place. They're not going to lose at home to the Jets, especially with the loss of Rodgers bringing them down.
Yes.
Yeah, they won.
Sunday Night Football again.
All right, Sunday Night Football 2 weeks in a row. I'm here for it. Right on. Oh wait, I'm going to be at the park Sunday. God, stupid Eagles fans bringing me to the work. No, damn it. Love you, Aunt Cindy, but damn it. Anyway,
Anyway, so it's
Oh,
big.
no, it's at 325. I'm sorry.
It is sad news. You know, it was hyped up. He got carted away. It's torn. We don't know if there's surgeries involved. There's a lot of the last thing I saw was Pat McAfee's show. He talked about it. He brought in the doctor. Pat McAfee was calling out all the internet experts.
Well, of course.
I mean, because everybody online is an expert. I ain't no expert, folks. I don't know everything. I can pretend that I do. I can say that, you know, oh yeah, he I didn't think he was going to be done for the season. Not like that, you know, but hey, it happens. Yes, it is really approved.
You want to?
And yeah, hey, you know what? I acknowledge that they can lose. They can lose. Hey, they've lost in Dallas before. They'll lose in Dallas again. But I am confident that even though the Jets, you know, made a good showing last night, despite the loss of Aaron Rodgers in 4 plays. Oh God, that's got to piss off so many people. Oh my God,
It tipped off the whole state of New York.
I was going to say, people in management are just probably going.
Oh no, they're losing it for real because of the stupidity that they're doing tomorrow.
Well, luckily, I'll get to your comment in a second, Zach. Luckily, like I said, I'm going to Disneyland on an off day with my dad's sister and her husband and my cousins. So it won't be like I'll watch it in real time. I'll probably find out about it later. Especially if the Eagles win again and the Cowboys don't win. It's going to be a.
I mean, even Vegas is in a panic. I mean, they've
sure.
upped their betting spreads. The Jets were heavily favored, and now they're turning into underdogs. They're in a panic. It's like a stock market crash in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, what's really shitty about my situation on Sunday is the last game the my Canyon Cowboys won, the high school game. They went and beat up on my cousin's team when he was in high school, Royal High School out here in Simi Valley, and they. I think they shut him out too, or if not, it was like it was as lopsided as the Dallas Cowboys were this week. So like, so I'm going with them Sunday. The Eagles win Sunday and Dallas doesn't win while we're at the park and I'm with them. The car ride home is going to be very, very long from Anaheim back here to Santa Clarita.
Something I forgot to mention with Matt Stafford, he was giving he was in his press conference and he made a comment about not being able to find a newspaper in Los Angeles. Doesn't the LA Times still publish?
Now, but you know what, though? You don't see a lot of newsstands on the corners anymore like you used to. They've kind of done away with them in favor of online because of all the paper waste and the ink and everything.
Yeah, I heard of that, and I'm like, I mean, I very rarely got to read the press telegram after they stopped delivering, or you know, when newspapers were a quarter, you pay $1 for a newspaper, but I'm like, if the LA Times goes belly up, it's all going to be on your phones, folks. This is your newspaper now.
The last time I bought a paper, actually legitimately bought a newspaper, was when the Kings won the Cup the first time, and when we bought like every press telegram in the frickin' city.
No, Pop, they weren't there. They didn't show up to play. They were too busy melting in the rain.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're too busy trying to break the curse that which is falling under the rain, because they clearly didn't show up to MetLife.
Yeah, Dak continued his perfect streak. He is now 12-0 against the Giants, and Saquon Barkley is now 0-9 against the Cowboys. So what does this all mean? What does it mean?
Yes.
It means power rankings. This is what I really love to do. I like to let you know who's the number one team. The far left column at the top, Dallas, number 1, 40 points, followed by the Packers at 38. The Dolphins are at 36. The Jags are at 31. The 49ers and the Rams, they each scored 30 points, but the 49ers gave up less points, so they get the higher ranked. They only gave up 7 points. The Rams gave up 13. The Ravens and the Eagles tied at 25. The Ravens only gave up 9 points. The Eagles gave up 20.
It's one time I'm going to be happy with Baltimore this year, guys, so take note of it.
There you go. The Browns and the Falcons were tied at 24. Cleveland only gave up 3 points. Atlanta gave up 10. The Jets scored 22 points in overtime. The Lions scored 21. So they are on the winner's side there, if you want to call it winners and losers. The Commanders scored 20 points. They only gave up 16. Tampa Bay gave up 17. The Raiders won with 17 points, and the Saints they won with the least amount of points at 16. The Chargers were the best loser, scoring the most points at 34. The Colts only scored 21. The Chiefs scored 20 but gave up 21. The Patriots scored 20, gave up 25. The Bears gave up the most at 38. The Vikings only scored 17 points. The Broncos and the Cardinals and the Bills all tied at 16, with the Broncos doing the best, followed by the Cardinals and the Bills. The Titans only scored 15 points. The Seahawks scored 13. The Panthers scored 10. The Texans scored 9. Steelers at 7. Bengals at 3. And the Giants didn't put up a single point. So they are at the bottom of the barrel. Is this confirmed?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Are you serious?
Yes.
No, come on.
Ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Put it up, but come on, really?
Yep.
Of all people, him?
No, but you know what, though, Mikey? Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Well, you got to look at it like this, Mikey. The person who they would really want, it's a conflict of interest with the NFL, so he can't.
Right.
Because they would want Tom Brady, but since he's now an owner.
I was going to say, yeah, he's an ownership here in Vegas, yeah, so.
Well, also, yeah, they teased that this morning too, and I'm like, if that happens, I mean,
but that literally can't happen because he would have to either give up his stake in the Raiders to do that. So
yeah. So
right, Pat Quinn. I'm sorry, old throwback. If you know, you know, hockey fans. Pat Quinn.
We have 2 more things to report on every season. I believe this is my 12th or 13th season running this pick'em contest. Everyone plays. There are the results. Brandon wins the first week at 11. DJ Mut King and Pop tied at 10. Dory's got a solid third at 9. Renegade, Raymond, JP, and Nathan all tied with 8. And Tammy, Jeff, and Emmanuel all got 7. This is a continuous thing. The scores from each week get added up all the way to week 18, and we'll have an overall leader. In our fantasy football contest, Zach crushed my team hugely. I had no chance whatever, so I lost my head-to-head matchup. Dory's team defeated Tammy's team. The close matchup was Raymond versus Greg, 66-60. That was very close, and Sean defeated Brandon and Emmanuel in a triple threat. So those were only the head-to-head matchups. There are the overall point scores. Zach has the lead after week 1. He only has a 20-point lead over Dory Lou. Can we have that graphic back up, please?
Certainly.
Emmanuel's in 3rd place at 695. Raymond is 4th at 585. Tammy in 5th at an even 574. Sean at 566. Brandon at 560. Me at 511. Greg is only 1 point behind me. So it's anywhere between 500 and 700 points per week. Somebody's going to hit 10,000 points probably by week 16. And that is the fantasy football lineup. Obviously, the fantasy god is number 1, but only by 20 points. So
that's fair.
So I'm thinking you versus Dory in week 2. What do you think? What do you say?
Man.
There it is. Challenge accepted for week 2.
You face Greg.
I face Greg? I'll put it up in the chat. We'll see if he does it. Tornado, thank you so much for coming into the sports bar and chatting along. I know you got to go to work.
Yes. Thank you all to watch today. We'll go ahead and get the plugs going here because I was reminded by our Cleveland correspondent that Ahsoka starts in less than 15 minutes. I want to make sure I catch that this week.
I got you.
With that being said, you can get Greg's answer about the challenge for fantasy football and so much more tomorrow with him and Matty Laws, who Denver lost to. It's going to be a sad day in Mudluck on the Greg Cherry Show tomorrow. But go ahead and watch it anyway because I won't be there to ruin their depression with my over celebrations. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific on the Greg Cherry brand and my channel, the Jeff Mitchell Network. Thursday, we will be having a kind of a double header at 8 o'clock Eastern. Impact Wrestling episode 1000. I can't believe that's a thing. Just crazy. And apparently this has been made into a two-nighter. So this week and next week will be part of Impact 1000. So we will check that out, and I'll confer with my commentary team on the watch-along for the 21st. Talk Wrestling will be after that at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific on its new night and a slightly adjusted time. Lingo will be our open mic game night this month here in September. Saturday night at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, followed immediately with the regular quote-unquote edition of Open Mic Night. We'll be talking about all the latest in professional wrestling. Let me get the graphics off here. God darn it. Too many logos. I make too much shit. Anyway, let's see what we got here. All month long on the Renegades Reviews, JJ's theme is Back to School, so check it out right here on the Casa D-18 Studios, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and of course his new release Saturdays, which aren't necessarily to do with school, but they are awesome nonetheless. Right back here next week, Tuesday, for another episode of Statboy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou next week, Mikey?
As far as we know, yes, Dory Lou will be back in the sports bar because we have to report on what happens at Bristol. So
that's right, because you guys are going to Bristol this weekend, baby.
Pending no major changes, Dory Lou will come back next week.
Yes, and you can follow all the channels across the Multiverse of Media on YouTube. There are the names at Jeff Meacham, at Casa D-18 Studios, at F16, at JBird75, and our affiliates at NoDQ DOTCOM, at Greg Cherry Brand, and at our new buddy Datilla at Rangers of Wrestling. Follow me in my shenanigans just because I have nothing better to do. There it is on Facebook, the Twitter /X. Also, my Threads account is that same handle, by the way. Instagram, and if you're watching on YouTube, you already know where to go, so you're good to go. You can also follow us in the Casa D-18 Studios at the Renegade JJ Williams on Instagram, at Casa D-18 Studios on YouTube, and at RLW JJ Williams on Twitter. Make sure you're typing slow and clicking the right one on Twitter when you type in his Twitter handle, because you might end up with J.K. Rowling's handle instead, because Twitter doesn't know what the hell to do with itself. I'm not kidding, by the way. Happened to me more than once, and as a Harry Potter fan, that's a bitch. You can follow today's co-host on social media at Fluffy Madden God on X, at DJ Mut King Official on Instagram. That's DJ MUT King Official on Instagram, and our usual barkeeps across the socials. Brand new graphic. I'm so proud of myself today. Anyway, there it is. That's everything for the plug side of things. Merchandising, advertising, of course, Hurricane Cheese and Spring Store. All right, that's enough out of you. I'm sorry, I'm getting a work chat. Drive me ape shit. And nope, just kidding. There it is. That's it for me, folks.
I do have a quick Statboy shout out of. If you remember back in a couple weeks ago, I announced that a local Sevier County resident, Red Brother, was in the Big Brother house. Well, not anymore. He got evicted last week by a vote of 8-2. There was a two-person bromance that fell apart. The house wanted that bromance split up. Initially, they did put both members on the block. One member took himself off. A pawn supposedly went up. The pawn stayed in. And unfortunately, Red from Gatlinburg got voted out. So our local celebrity is no longer in the Big Brother house. So that is kind of sad. But hey, that's what happens in social, in a reality TV that's not quite real. And even though Dory Lou was not with us this week, she still left a positive thought to end the week. That's what she does, because Dory Lou teaches us to be positive in the world. This positive note comes from the Simplicity Heart. and it reads, "No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future, but any amount of gratitude changes the present." In easy terms, thank people. Sometimes a thank you is the easiest and simplest way to show that you appreciate somebody. That's why before I say my closing, I say thank you and I say I love you all.
Yes, indeed. And I also want to thank, sorry, I didn't mean to cut over you, Mikey. I want to thank everybody. And I don't know where the Renegades stats are at the moment because I don't have access to that. None of my damn business. But I am already more than halfway to the super chat, to the revenue goal for the month for September. And it's September 12th. So to everybody watching on my channel, to everybody that is super chatted in the first 11 days, 11 and a half now this month, thank you so much. You guys truly have no idea how much it's appreciated that we are able to collect revenue on these channels on the regular now, because it does help keep shows like this going. It helps keep the ability to have programs to make these graphics going each and every week. So thank you guys again, everybody at home, everybody that super chats, everybody that encourages others to super chat, and just watching the shows. Believe it or not, just watching the shows does get us revenue and ad clicks and everything. So thank you guys very much. JJ made haha about it on Saturday. We sound like PBS commercial, but we are able to what we do because of viewers like you. So thank you guys very much.
Indeed. 2 simple words, and that's a good way to end the show. So we will see you all next week. Zach, thanks for filling in. You did a great job. You're more than welcome to come back in, especially for the college football. You seem to know more about it than I do, so I greatly appreciate that. I love you all. We'll see you next week. It's Bristol, baby. For the DJ Mut King, for the Jeff Meacham, for the Dory Lou, who is the Stat Girl, working in Gatlinburg. I love you all. Thank you so much. Stat Boy out.